the most recent vlog I just posted, you guys have been showing a lot of love to that. We just hit 140,000 subscribers, so thank you if you're subscribed. If not, hit subscribe. Thank you. But in that, a lot of people have been saying the mustache is hard, but it's gone. I shaved it. I had it for like a month and a half. It just, I don't know, I got sick of it. Maybe I'll regrow it here in the future. But also, a lot of you guys have been asking how I color grade these vlogs. So in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly my color grading process and how I actually color graded the vlog that you're watching right now. Also, that vlog is a 1 out of 10, which is crazy for a vlog. And I thought the paper masterclass would have been higher, but this is actually doing a lot better. So I appreciate everyone that's been watching the vlogs. I hope you continue to do so I can entertain and educate you guys. If you could drop a like, that'd be appreciated, but let's get into it. Woo! While I wait for that burrito to cool down, check out these things that I found at a vintage shop recently. Those actually real photos from the Steven Spielberg movie E.T., and they turned it into like a storybook. It has like these really, really cool photos from like on set and like crazy just photos throughout. So I was thinking about taking out a few photos from the book and like framing them and putting them on a wall because it just like is really cool. It's like vintage, looks cool, and it's a great movie. And then also I got some film reels to hang up on my office wall. I think I'm gonna put them like, here's my desk, and then it would probably go up there somewhere, and like all three of them. I thought this one was really cool because it has like writing on it. This is just like a clean one, and then this one has like 4 cutouts. Like you can see this one has like 4 cutouts, this one has 6, and then this one has writings. So they're all like a little bit more unique and different. And these 3 film reels and the book altogether was only, I think, 17 bucks at the vintage store. So decorating the office for pretty cheap. So I have some form of eggs like every single morning, and this is something that I've been making a little bit more recently. It's like an egg burrito, and I've been cutting, so it's good. It's like pretty filling, but it's pretty low calorie, high in protein. For those who care, it's 44 protein, 17 carb, 22 fat, 430 calories. So color grading is a challenging thing to do. I feel like I'm still learning every single day, and I just want to share some of the camera settings that I use to help me get the best possible color grading. Also, a lot of it is how you shoot. You can tell behind this window, it's really, really bright. So I'm actually kind of dark, and that's probably not optimal, but I don't really know how to shoot that well. I'm more of an editor, but I can tell you some things I do in camera and then also on the computer to make it as easy to not really know what you're doing with the camera and still make it look good. This is a little off topic, but I've recently been using these old vintage cameras to kind of get texture and add a little extra something into your video. I've recently learned how to record straight to a micro SD card in this. So if you guys want to see a video on that, let me know, but I'm actually going to switch over to this camera. That way I can show you the camera settings that I'm using on this camera right here. So if I want to color grade as best as possible, I'll shoot in S-Log3. So to do that, you can go to picture profile, and on my camera, it's picture profile 2. And that's gonna make everything on camera very flat, desaturated, and look really bad out of camera. But then doing that gives you the most flexibility in your actual color grading process. So that's what I like to shoot when I really wanna change the colors. And then because I don't know how to shoot that well and expose everything properly, I just turn this exposure meter to +2. So it overexposes 2 stops all the time. And then I actually just set my ISO to auto. And then I also record 100 megabytes per second, 422 and 10-bit. That way you have the biggest color depth and just the highest quality. And that's pretty much all I do in camera to make it as easy as possible to color grade without having to know too much technical camera stuff. The editing setup. Let's color grade this footage. Also, getting this floating shelf hung up here, that way I can have the plaque and stuff kind of in the background and just a little bit more wall art because it's kind of bare right now, but we're working on it. So in Premiere Pro, let's color grade our footage. This is what it looks like completely out of the camera. You can see there's some noise here. Everything's super desaturated, flat, boring looking. Step number 1, if I'm shooting S-Log3, is to always bring on a conversion LUT. So let's go ahead and drag on Lumetri Color, go to Creative, Browse, and then open up the S-Log3 to Rec 709 conversion LUT. I'll have the download to that linked in the description. It's free, so if you're not aware about conversion LUTs, let me put you on, because I didn't know about them for a while and they're really helpful. So just drag that on, and now you can see if you toggle that LUT on and off, you can see it makes it look like our footage is shot with no picture profile at all, but it still has all the data that S-Log3 allows you to have. So now you can change the colors and manipulate it a lot more without it looking bad. So I'm a huge fan of that grungy film look. It just kind of has a soft spot in my heart. That's why I like those old cameras. So I always drag on a second Lumetri color below it, go to Creative, Browse, and then from my Essentials LUT pack, I either normally use grungy green or filmic. Those are my 2 personal favorites. I'll have these linked down in the description as well if you're a fan of that filmic or grungy look, kind of how I am. These are perfect for that, but you can really use any kind of LUT, or you can go ahead and change the colors yourself. I just like having the tools that allow me to get 90% of the way there. That way I can just finish it up and polish it myself. So let's drag on that filmic LUT, and already I can tell this is a little too intense for my liking. So I'm just gonna turn down the intensity because we already did convert it to that Rec 709. I think somewhere around 60 looks good for us. It's all gonna be different. For these vlogs, I don't really ever go and color grade or change each individual clip unless one's like super underexposed or super overexposed. I normally just kind of color grade one clip that looks like it's exposed properly and everything, and then just copy and paste all the settings. And then if there is that outlier where it's super overexposed or super underexposed, which I actually tend to do a decent amount because like I said, not the best at shooting. But if you shoot S-Log3 exposed 2 stops over, you can pretty much manipulate the footage however you want. And this last step I'm about to do is kind of the sauce. It's pretty much like 80 to 90% of the filmic grungy look that I apply. It's this plugin called Dehancer. I reached out to them a while ago because I really like their product and I use it all the time. And I think I have a code for you guys. If you use code, I'm pretty sure it's Brian. I'll have it in the description if it's not Brian, but it'll get you 10% off Dehancer Pro or just any Dehancer product. I use the Pro version. I love it. I just personally use it. A bunch of my friends use it. I think it's kind of the sauce when it comes to that filmic look. If you like Dehancer, you like what you're about to see, check it out. I know it's expensive, but honestly, I use it all the time and I love it. I'll show you my settings on there because I kind of got the sauce on Dehancer. So I always drag Dehancer below all my color grading. The first thing I always like to do is either go ahead and turn off the film tab so you have your original color grade, or sometimes they have some really good built-in presets. One of the ones I really like is the Fuji Color 100. I just really like the aesthetic of it. It's almost like that kind of muted, like desaturated look, but it also still allows some of your color grade to go through. So for our example, let's go ahead and use that. I like the way that looks. Another one of the tabs that I always go into no matter what is film grain. I changed the amount down to 1 because I think it's just a lot of grain at 20. I turned up the film resolution to 100. That way the resolution of the grain is just a little bit higher. And then I personally love the way grain looks in highlights. So I turn the highlight grain all the way up to 100. I'll actually a lot of times turn down the midtone and the shadows to 25 and 25. These are all rough numbers that you can change because it's going to look different on everyone's footage. But for us, I actually think I really like those numbers. Another tab I'll go into a lot is the halations tab. If you enable it and then click mask mode, you can kind of see what it's doing. It's basically adding this nice halation around spots that have highlights. So a lot of times I think that the default is a little bit too much, but it's all personal preference. So a lot of times I'll turn down the impact from like 80 to 25, 10, whatever. It's all dependent on your footage. For this clip, I like the way 35 looks. Another tab that I like a lot is bloom, but sometimes I think it does ruin the clip. It really just depends on what the vibe you're going for is. If I put it on, a lot of times I'll keep it at like 10 on impact, so it's very, very not even noticeable. It just softens up the image and makes it feel a little less digital because I am recording off a really high quality Sony camera, so making it a little softer sometimes does help get that film aesthetic. And then finally, another stylistic choice that I'll add sometimes depending on what I'm going for is a nice little vignette. I'll normally do that through Lumetri color and just do the amount like -0.3, -0.5, somewhere around there. And it just adds a little bit of that vignette around the outside, making the focus a little bit more in the center. It just helps add that grungy vibe to it. So this final product right here will be the grade of the vlog. It's also what you're gonna be seeing here on screen. So I'm just gonna copy and paste those settings to this clip as well. I'll have applied it to everything besides those old vintage cams. So this is what it looked like right out of camera and then with our final grade. That's pretty much all I got for you guys on this one. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to drop a like. I'll have all the resources that I used linked in the description. The conversion LUTs, my essential LUT pack, and then also Dehancer Pro. Every single time I color grade these vlogs, that's the process that I do. So I'm giving you the sauce, everything that I know on how to do it. I just showed you. But that's all I got for you guys in this one. Peace.